Hi, Shirley here, and today I want to talk about psychic vampirism, narcissism, antisocial behavior, and what to do when we run into it or it runs into us, and how to actually what are these people, what are these entities, and how to actually deal with being psychically attacked or drained. So psychic attack, whether it's entities or people, are like black holes that vacuum everything into them. And it usually is a place of very limited or lack of self-love that is so extreme that the ego is no longer healthy and everything is about survival. It's usually trauma-based, and so this is a very extreme trauma. And the heartbreaking thing about it is that we know that underneath all that there is a need to love, but inability to receive love from outside sources, and inability to cultivate self-love. Now, when we are near a black hole, we get sucked in. And a lot of people who are in relationships, for example, with people who are psychically attacking them, people who are narcissistic, people who are antisocial, people who are extremely obsessive, extremely insecure, they want to help them, they want to give love. But you cannot give love from a place of fear. And love is towards the self first, and love is boundaries first. So what you actually need to do when you run into that is to love yourself out of it. To think you can love another person into being unless they are already coming and showing up and making a process and a progress consistently is actually an ego trip when you think about it. And it's harsh to supposedly abandon them, but to stay is to abandon yourself. And this is also how you know when to quit a relationship. If staying is abandoning yourself, then not betraying you is the most important thing. And this is how you will reach actually relationship, when you are not betrayed and you are not abandoned. So the best thing you could do is to love yourself out of it, and to set your own boundaries, and to cultivate self-love in any way you can. I use crystal energy, like this Madagascar rose quartz. Rhodochrosite, it's very good for that. Rhodonite is very good for that. And changing the beliefs and purging the unhealthy voices, the voices that bring you down within you. And so slowly but surely, all the frequencies that don't match the healthiest voices in you, when you validate them, the love, the self-love within you, are slowly dissipating from your life. And when they attach themselves to you, they attach themselves to that wound within you that is self-deprecating. So this is painful. You can heal from self-deprecation. What you need to do is to surround yourself with people who validate the best inner voices, the healthiest voices that you have within you, that resonate with the best energies that you have within you, and also take responsibility for your energy. If you're in anger, in obsession, in worthlessness, and you're not in a stage where you can receive love, not take love, receive love, then take your rose quartz and go meditate. Don't try to seek it outside, because otherwise you become this black hole. And as for the people who are black holes, the best thing you could do is to love yourself outside of them, Because when you go near and stay, you yourself become drained and you become a part of this black hole. You become less self-loving, you become more aggressive, you become aggressive either towards yourself or towards others, and you basically lose your humanity slowly but surely. And being two black holes in a relationship does not make any of it easier. So being another part of this black hole does not help not you and not the other person, and basically you become draining, and then they have reasons to say that you are the narcissist or you are the borderline or whatever. This is also when it's important to know that the best thing you can do for such a person is basically to walk up and leave. That way, the more people walk up and leave, the less people drain to the black hole. And actually, when the person is a narcissist, then the only narcissistic energy, then the only psychic attack they have to deal with is actually themselves. That's the ideal. And then they actually have less burden. When you're gone, they have less burden, and so they get an open window where love could come in, but with boundaries. So if you are psychically attacked, what you need is to love yourself out of it. Yes, it is most likely that the other person will continue to attract people who are vacuumed in or are psychic vampires as well, energetic vampires as well. But to break the cycle, you need to get out of it. To break the cycle of war, you need to love yourself out of war. So that's the best advice I could give you on how to deal with psychic attacks, and to understand that these people are in trauma, and to not get into an ego trip that you can save them. And also, if you are drained, to understand that it is your lack of validation of your self-love that they attach to, and love yourself out of it by taking even small steps towards validating healthier voices. It's not easy, but that's the only way out. And forgive yourself for the way that you have been drained. If you've been aggressive, if you've been lashing out, if you've been attacking back either the narcissist or yourself, then to cultivate forgiveness towards yourself step by step is the only way. Now, how I do that, how I deal with a past of being surrounded by a narcissistic energy, by vampiric energy, and by my own, becoming vampiric when I was drained back, is validating the healthiest voices in me. Putting out these voices like I'm doing with this video, taking my crystals, my rhodochrosite, my rhodonite, my rose quartz, and if you want to know how I work with it, then I can link it to the video of how I work with the rose quartz and how to cultivate self-love using that, and transmute the energy. No way out. You want to create an energetic separation. You want to raise your own frequencies so that they will fall out of your life. And you want to recultivate self-worth so that when they fall out of your life, you feel more free than abandoned. Because sometimes when the narcissist leaves you, and they do it with a huge ego trip, usually blaming you or ignoring you or whatever, or finding another prey and hanging around with them, then cultivating the self-love to look at the freedom that you gain rather than the abandonment that you feel, slowly but surely. And this is the last thing I want to say, is about when you feel cognitive dissonance, when there is that in-between stage that the person can be very loving and then very vampiric. You need to understand that healthy is love. If something keeps you stuck in a cycle, then you're not making progress. If you take one step forward and 2 steps backwards, you're not in progress. And being stuck is a good enough reason to love yourself even more and not try to think if this person is good or bad. They are both good and bad. They are both vampiric and bringing value. But this is keeping you stuck. And if you're stuck, you need to unstuck yourself and love yourself and understand that you want people who are loving and liberating, not loving and controlling. So that is what you do with the cognitive dissonance. You don't try to ask yourself if this person is good or bad. They have a complex of energies within them, and you want the big picture. We all are human, but you want the big picture to be progress and growth in your life. The big picture. You want that to be progress and growth in your life. We all go through harsh times, but if you're stuck in it, in any relationship, not necessarily a vampiric one, then you need to break free from the cycle of abuse, or the cycle of just being stuck in a rut. That's for now. And if you have any of your own experience with psychic attack, with shields, with basically not being in alignment with your own self-love and inspiration, that's what brings psychic attacks, and not setting boundaries, what helped you heal? Do you resonate with that? If this is helpful for you, please share it with people who you think will benefit from that. And if you want more tips about how to cultivate self-love, self-worth, check out my Instagram. And if you want to manifest a different reality, check also my Facebook group, Manifestation Tips That Really Work. I have on this channel manifestation tips, I have how to work with crystals, and I have videos like this that are more self-help and dealing with places where we actually need to grow. So if you want more from that, subscribe, but also click the bell for the notifications. It's not enough to subscribe. You won't get notifications. So leave your own experience in the comments, and see you again. Thank you for tuning in.